Hello and welcome to the Scrap Academy. I nearly said Stamp Academy, which give you a little bit of a clue of what we're doing today. So this is Laura Rumble with you, and I am going to be using stamps to make my own ephemera. The stamps I am using are from StickerKitten, and I'm on their design team, so I do have to say add. This does count as an advertisement according to British law. I'm taking 5, I was going to say 4 because there's 4 papers, but there's definitely 5. 5 different stamps of pot plants and stamping them in blue ink onto patterned paper. That you saw me there conditioning the stamp, so I haven't used that big stamp before, so I've just rubbed over it with my fingers and taken off any residue from the manufacturing process. This is a MISTI, otherwise known as a stamping platform. This allows me to stamp multiple images at once, and also, see there, I've missed a bit and misstamped it. I can go back and stamp again in exactly the same spot. This is the MISTI 2.0. You can also get them in smaller size and 12 by 12, which is brilliant if you're a rubbish stamper like me, but really love the look of stamping. I'm going to whiz through, I'm just colouring them in with coloured pencils, nothing fancy. I have fussy cut out the pots from the pattern paper, and I'm going to glue them on top of the plants stamped on the white paper. I'm then going to fussy cut them out again, so there's quite a bit of cutting involved, but look, you get such cute little pieces of ephemera. I've used 2 ink colours and patterned paper and coloured pencils, but really you could do any combination of any mediums. You could do watercolours, you could use Copic markers or any other kind of pen. You could stamp purely onto pattern paper, you could piece different pieces of pattern paper for different pieces of the stamp. The possibilities are endless, and it's so much fun. I hope you can tell from my voice. I had so much fun making this layout. Moving on to the layout itself, I would like a strip of pattern paper across the bottom of my layout. I'm working on A4 and the paper I have is 15 centimetres wide. Obviously that's not long enough, but the pattern is such that it repeats. So all I'm doing is working out where the pattern repeats and matching it up, gluing 2 sheets together, trimming them down, and hey presto, large piece, seamless pattern. You can't tell that it's 2 pieces glued together, and easy, quick hack. Don't necessarily need to have 12-inch papers to have large pieces of pattern paper. So I'm using one little slice of paper. I'm using it as a shelf. Basically, my plants are going to be sitting on a shelf. Now, as I'm putting them down, I've put them next to each other, and I forgot that I wanted to overlap them and have them closer together. So I've unstuck them and restuck them and unstuck them and restuck them, and I've made a little bit of a mess of my background, I'm not going to lie to you. I use an adhesive eraser. Oh, first of all, I'm going to glue this little frame in place. That's going to house my journaling. So here I'm using an adhesive eraser, which is a really brilliant tool to have in your stash. It picks up any bits of sticky, any bits of residue, and takes them off your page, leaving it looking almost as new, not quite. I'm now moving on. I have got 5 different coloured patterned papers. They're the same pattern on different colours, and I'm loving using all of them together because the colour palette is just so pretty. I'm going to use each piece to back one photo, so I've got 5 photos in all, and I'm going to trim them down with a little border. I better explain, I'm not really a plant person, except that I've suddenly somehow become a plant person. I bought myself some pups, which are just cuttings of succulents to propagate myself, and they're doing really well. And then I acquired another 3 plants, and then another 3 plants, and I only finished this layout yesterday, and already I've got more plants. It's addictive. It's terrible. Well, it's not terrible, it's brilliant. So I decided my shelf was too long, and I tore a piece off, and I will fix that later. I'm starting adding lines from the bottom of my journaling box and using the line on my ruler to make sure they're evenly spaced. And that's where my journaling will go. Now I've got to cover that bit of a boo-boo where I shortened my shelf. I'm going to add the date. One date wasn't quite enough to cover it, so I'm going to add 3. And I'm going to stack them up, bit of a wonky haphazard pile, and that covers brilliantly the slightly messy bit that I didn't really want showing. I'm finishing off with a few enamel dots. I like them in groups of 3, and I'm going to have 3 groups. I've picked out colours that match the papers from StickerKitten, but the enamel dots are just various collections collected over the years. I decided that I'd like to add a little bit of a splattery, painty finish. So I'm using a watercolour. It's Kramer Pigments, silver grey graphite, I think it's called. I smudged some, so I add some more and touch them up a little bit and faff for a little while, and then come to a point where I thought, just stop, Laura, otherwise you're going to make a mess. There you go, stop. And there we are, there's the finished layout. So I've got 5 pieces of my own ephemera, seamlessly mixed in with pattern papers from 2 different collections, and a really good layout to go in my album. So thank you very much for watching. Do like and subscribe and share your creations, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!